Thoughts on this defensive football team you're about to play?
Very good defensive football team. Up front, very talented, use their hands very well, great initial quickness. Linebackers can run sideline to sideline, very gifted in the corner spot. I think they played very good man coverage. I think the safeties, Mr. Hooker is a very good football player, very, very talented football team, very talented defense.
It seemed like Indiana was having some success getting a little bit of pressure on John in the last game. What was, I guess, the factor there that was causing that?
Indiana does a nice job. The Indiana going into the game was a big-time pressure team. They had a lot of different looks, what they did. Fundamentally, some of it was in terms of just us moving our feet, keeping our head out of there, covering guys up, IDing things. We got to do a better job with that, and I got to do a better job coaching it.
How did John progress in your mind from the start of that game to the end?
I think he did an outstanding job. He made a play when there was supposed to play to be made. He managed the game very well. He took a timeouts when he needed to. And he established that drive with 9:42 left in the fourth quarter. We took it down, make them use their last timeout. Gave the ball back, I believe, with like 50 seconds on the clock. I mean, John did an outstanding job.
Did you and the line have a chat at halftime about what needed to happen in the second half? There? John, pick him up a little bit maybe?
I read that about Mags. I don't actually remember if I did say something. They do always talk about running the football. I trust them with my whole heart and soul. And maybe we did. We went over like we normally do, our normal things at halftime, talking about it. We talked about running the ball. We talked about protections. Talked with the whole group offensively what we were going to do going into the second half. But I do rely on those guys. I do, in terms of just what they're feeling, how they're feeling it, because they're the ones out there doing it.
Do you want them to put more on their shoulders at this point? Your quarterback, whatever the situation is, either a guy making his only a second start or a guy that's banged up. Do you tell the line, you guys need to carry more weight this week? Or?
No, I think every week you challenge them. Every week's a new challenge. And they understand the expectation level, what needs to be done in the room. I don't think you ever put added pressure on them. I think that we just understand that in the offensive line and defensive lines and quarterback, any position there on the field, you got to deliver at a high level, But I don't think you try to put added pressure on them. Just demand.
What's the balance between sticking true to what you do well and then changing tendency in a game like this?
I think the bottom line is you do what you do really well. You game plan them. You try to attack their weaknesses. You get a feel if they're doing some things that are differently out there that you make sure that you do adjust. But the bottom line is we just do what we do. I always say it is, if it's a cold, a rainy day, and you're going to play somebody, do you change your whole game plan? Do you start to do the balls in the bucket? Do you hey, we got to run the ball? I think you start to get away from what you really are. And like any game plan, you try to create with matchups. You try to put the best plays in. You try to call the best plays, and you just go from there.
When you're facing a team that is athletic as they are on defense, does make sense? But do you try to beat them by letting your athletes do the same, or with scheme?
Both. They run really well. They do, and they're a type of team you can fool them once, but you probably can't fool them twice. So you do both. You do both. They run very well, very athletic, very good up front. Like I said, great initial quickness. Really savvy football players. Really savvy. So it's you put the best plan together.
When going against a team that puts up big offensive numbers the way they do, is there more pressure on the offense at Michigan to do the same?
No. You just control what you can control offensively, just like the special teams, just like the defense. My job is to coordinate this offense, but it's a good question. You just stay on course. In any type of game, you're going to get a storm. You weather the storm. You find out the best answers. You deliver the best answers, and you get the players to execute at a high level.
When you're game planning, to what extent can you plan for that? A lot of things you can't plan for, but
you go through all the different scenarios in the game. You got the 4-man, you got the 2-man, you got the red zone, you got backed up. You have all the different third downs. You go through it and you think, you always go through your mind, well, if they do this, play this coverage, what are you going to do? If they're going to play this front, they bring a lot of this pressure. You kind of always have a little bit something on that call sheet. If they start to do something, you can change, and be able to maneuver. You just don't want to be pigeonholed. So, at times you start to think like you want to think like their defensive coordinator right? How would you attack us? What are you going to do to us? You know, and look back at games and different things that they've had done in the past. And, you know, Coach Schiano being there, you know, what did he do at the previous employer where I was, you know? What did he do when he played against them?
How much do you look at what other teams have had success with against them and kind of incorporate that?
Well, you always look. You look at what hurts them, you know, you look at the other teams and evaluate. You put that in consideration and you take what you need to take.
Looking at Schiano's NFL film?
Yeah, he was at Tampa Bay at the time, and Rutgers at the time, and you know, there's a lot of different places that we've crossed over.
Some of the players were saying that Wilton is taking snaps.
Yeah, taking snaps is day to day. We'll make that decision when we need to make it. That's in the doctor's hand, and ultimately, Coach Harbaugh will make that final decision and being the head football coach with the doctors.
Can you make a decision on that real late in the week? Or you kind of need to know early?
Yeah, I think you can do it whenever you can do it. You know, we've had guys before. You know, Frank Gore when we were at the Niners. You know, he was kind of a little banged up. We took him out. We warmed him up. He looked good. He made a decision. You got the head coach. You got the doctors. You got the trainers, and you make what's the best decision for that young man's health and for the football team.
It's not different for a quarterback, though?
No, it's any position. I mean, a position's a position. You know.
How much is this an atonement for last year's game, too? Do you even think about that?
Nah, I mean, you know, you always, whenever you lose a game, it hurts you, and you don't want it to ever happen again. But you know, this is the next opponent up, and we're going to put the best game plan together, and you know, stay even keel. You don't want to get emotionally hijacked and think this, think that. You know, just put our players in the best situation, and let's go out and execute at a high level.
Does Wilton lobby to play throughout the week? Is he someone who's asking that?
Wilton's an unbelievable competitor. I wouldn't say he ever would lobby, but he's ready to go if he's able.
How healthy does he have to be to get on the field?
You know, that's really up to Jim and up to the doctors and the trainers, and we'll make that final decision we need to. And I can't put a percentage or, you know.
Is it more of an issue of whether he can play or whether him at whatever capacity he can play is better than John?
We want the best for Wilton and for our football team.
Time for one or two more for Coach.
Can you sense a little more energy among the seniors wanting to win this game, not having won it yet?
You know, I mean, that's you see that, and I think it's excitement in the air. You know, just like every week, you know, it's the last final regular season game, and you know, there's a want to play at a high level. Is there more excitement? I think you know, this is a great time of week, Thanksgiving, because you got a lot to be thankful for, and you play this game, you be able to break bread with your family on Thanksgiving and the team, and I think there's always excitement around this team around this time. Anytime you get to play a football game on Thanksgiving and that week, it's a neat time of the year. You know, you look back at times in high school, maybe you don't make it far enough in the playoffs. You know, it's like, gosh, this is a great day, right? And everybody's got their turkey bowls on Thursday, and it's a very thankful time.
If it is John that starts, what did he gain from that Indiana game?
I think he gained, you know, in terms of just be able to manage the team, manage the offense, take snaps in a live situation. You know, just another chance for him to do it.
You mentioned this week. How about Jim? He talks about treating every week the same. Did you see anything differently from him this week?
You know, I've been with Jim for a long time. No, he's the same, just like I'm the same. You know, it's put the best plan together. You lead the team. You lead the players. You get the players to practice hard. You get them to execute. You get them to understand the game plan and take day by day. You don't want to be better today than we were yesterday, and just keep going.